Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? What's good? Can everybody hear me all right? I know I had some issues with the audio last time I did one of these daggone trainings. It's been a minute. I didn't do any trainings at all last month. Had me like salivating, chomping at the bit. I felt deprived. I felt left out. But I'm back, Hey, and I appreciate you guys tapping in with me tonight. There's a ton of things y'all could be doing on a Wednesday night. So I just appreciate you guys tapping in with me and going over the stocks. Um, got a lot of things I want to talk about and cover, and hopefully y'all got some questions and got some tickers that have been on your radar and things looking into 2024. Um, Anyhow, with that being said, let's get to it, shall we? Just want to make sure everything's good. Yo, having these captions on in this thing is interesting. All right, let me see here. Okay, I think that's the only screener I need to look at. Um, all right, so look, y'all. Everyone's been talking about, oh, it's a recession. All the stocks are going down. What do we do? Everyone's going to sell everything, and the market's getting crushed. Look, and it did. It did for a good part of the beginning of the year. Absolutely got crushed. But if what I want you guys to really think about as we go into 2024, right, is that for the last 25 years, the stock market has only been going in one direction. That's it. It hasn't been going, yes, there's all these little small fractal moments where um everyone panics, right? Everyone panics about the housing market, all of these other things. But the truth of the matter is, like, this is the 25-year chart on the S&P 500. It's only going one way. So you as a trader, you as an investor have to really look at your mission, what it is that you're doing in a much bigger light, in a bigger picture, right? Um, and not be swayed by the outside noise. This is a whole nother topic in itself, but the mainstream media, all of the news outlets, all of the journalists, all of the Wall Street Journal, um, all of the magazines, all the articles, they all have narratives to push, and the narrative to push to everybody for everything is always fear, right? They want to instill fear to get people to make moves in that emotion, right? Which then paves the way for all of the money makers and all the elitists and all of the people who are filthy fucking rich to make more money off of your fear, right? If you just stick to your plan and you just keep doing the work, it's you're going to get to where you want to go in terms of the stock market and investing. Like, you look at everybody who's really putting in that work, Chris, Ian Dunlap, GP, it's all about time. It's about time and just being patient and being persistent with the things that you're seeing. So you can look at the market here on a 25-year chart and see that, okay, this is the whole, oh, the market's tanking, it's recession time, we're all doomed, this is where we're all going to die. If you look at this, like, it's not even a ripple in the whole grand scheme of anything. It's funny to me how much people panic. And, like, look, I get it. It is scary when you got a shit ton of money in the stock market, when you're investing 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 into stocks, right? not just individual stocks, but even the index funds too, right? Index funds are all going to go up, but individual stocks, that's where it gets a little dicey. But put your money into good companies. Put, invest into good things. Don't be so hell bent on just getting rich quick. The stock market's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes persistence. It takes showing up. Um, Look, there's bits and pieces of it that are really hard. There's other bits and pieces of it that is really easy to stick to the plan. Just in the same way that Chris always preaches, just be a robot. I know that there's a big shift now towards Bitcoin, and that should be something that everyone is thinking about. Um, with all of the inflation rates, and the CPI data just came out too, and um, where they're going to hold the interest rates and what that's going to mean for the market. And it's like, look, if they're going to hold the interest rates, then what needs to happen is like, okay, everyone complains about the recession, the market tanking, all of this stuff. Like if we go and look at the overall performance for the year, it's interesting on this chart because coming back to this just last month, energy was at the top. Energy was crushing everything. Now look at energy. Energy got crushed. Energy got crushed within like the last couple of weeks. Like it was starting to take off, and then the data comes back. Energy and oil pull back, and it just gets crushed, and it moves to the bottom, right? And so that all goes back to the lessons that I gave on stock market sector rotation and all that, right? And now you see that the financial and technology spaces, or the financial technology markets are at the top. Sorry, wrong one. The technology, sort of financials almost up there. Tech, communication services, consumer cyclical. And if you don't know what entails all of these different sectors, I have that training pinned in the research admin channel, the document that has all of those in there. Just go watch the training on the sector rotation so that you understand it and how it works. So really going into 2024, me personally, my personal opinion on it is like, look, we can never know for sure. I got asked a whole bunch of questions about Warren Buffett selling the massive amount of shares, the insider selling Celsius, insider selling X, Y, and Z, right? I do care about what people are selling, but what I care about more is what people are buying. And with the insiders and the executives selling all of the things that they do, there's so many variables that go into that, right? I don't ever want you guys to get swayed by, oh, this person's selling, so that means I have to sell or I have to panic here. They sell for a myriad of reasons, especially if it's an institution and especially if it's a large organization, right? That money could be going into taking profits. They're trading just like we are. Kathy Woods and her ARK fund people, if you go and you sign up for those, you can see exactly what they're day trading millions of dollars a day on all of these stocks, little moves, 10-cent dollar moves on these stocks, and they're doing it by the millions and millions of dollars. So the reasoning behind all of that, you're not going to know. You're not going to know it. They're not going to disclose what those reasons are, but those reasons might be just in the same way that our reasons are, that we sell our stocks to get profits, because we take the profits, we put them into other assets, we put them into our friends' businesses, we pay our bills with them, we go into research and development, right? That's a big thing in business, research and development. That research and development for us is our self-help, our self-care, our education, books, podcasts, videos, all these things, right? So we take our profits for the same exact reasons. So don't be swayed by how much people are always selling all the time, because there's way too many variables for you to know for sure the reason why. Yes, I think it's important to pay attention to, but don't let it be the end all be all for your decisions, for you to make your moves in the stock market. I think that there are influences to make. Warren Buffett makes moves, Charlie Munger makes moves, rest in peace. You know, you pay attention to it, right? Because they're the greatest investors of all time. But what they're notorious for is for holding shit. right? They're notorious for, like, they've sold it tons and tons of times, but then they've reallocated that money into other businesses. They've pumped it into other companies. They've pumped it into other affiliates at this around the same time that they sold it, right? But you'll notice that um quad witching is coming up. That's that's when sort of like everything expires all at the same time for the people that don't know. Um, the last couple of quad witching cycles, the market really hasn't done anything but be choppy and decline by a couple of dollars. It wasn't very much. It wasn't much of a move. But if you go back into 2021 and you look at the quad witching dates, which I believe are in March, June, September, and December. Yeah, March. Yeah, I think it's March. March, June. I think it's June. I don't think it's July. I think it's June. March, June, September, and December, right? So if you go back and look at all of those time frames of when those were, it's like the second week of the month for each of those months. If you go and look at those times, the market really didn't do anything. But the time that it really did make the decline, and when it did make a move, and when it was affected, was December. So quad witching is coming up. I believe it's on the 16th or 17th of this month. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but I believe it's one of those 2 days. I think it's the 16th. Um, on the 16th of December, if you go back and look in 2021, what it was, and in 2020 and in 2019, going towards the end of the year, the quad witching at the end of the year is always the worst. Why? Because a lot of investors and a lot of traders taxed harvest, right? They taxed harvest basically to offset their capital gains, so they pay less in taxes. So they'll sell their positions at a loss, then they'll go in and repurchase things at a lower price outside of the wash sale rule. They'll wait the 30 days or whatever and uh, be able to buy it on a discount to be able to harvest the taxes, right? Or roll them into the next year. Um, that's a strategies that a lot of investors and traders do towards the end of the year. A lot of the heavy money makers and the institutions do it. So if you're swinging things, if you're getting into certain trades, I would go back and look at the trends of all of these stocks or index funds or whatever it is you're investing into. I would go and look at them. What did they do the last 3 or 4 December 15th or 16th when the quad witchings happened? What was that activity around that time frame? Because it'll help you kind of foreshadow things to come for the stock itself and the outlook of where it's potentially going to go. It's not always it's not always the end all be all, but it's a trend that's important to pay attention to in that way. Hold on, I just want to scroll up here through these questions real quick, and let me see if there's anything in the chat I need to answer. Cool. Yeah, you guys want to talk about Uber? Uber's been going crazy. The Lyft trade's been going crazy. DoorDash went crazy. Okta went crazy finally after we got smacked and gained and got it back. Yeah, so December 15th. Yeah, so go look at December 15th. Come back and look and see. I don't know how to get these. I don't know how to get the captions off at the bottom of the chart, but if you go back and look, crunch this. I'll bring this over this way a little bit. Or I'm just going to come over here to stock charts. I'm going to go do this on stock charts. It's so much easier. All right, I got to go one. Oh no, here we go. So really like that. Well, you can't really tell there either unless that was zoomed in. Hold on, bear with me, y'all. These captions in the bottom of my screen are throwing me off. I wasn't expecting these things. I don't know how to take them off, or at least minimize them, or put them in like another corner. I don't know how to move it. Okay, so 23 December. All right, so December's like right in here. So this, yeah, this area right here, this I believe was all of quad witching last year. This little area right here. From here all the way down, this tanked in 2022, right? Bring it back to 2021. Coming back. If I don't lose my way. Right. So then we come here. And I think it was right around that same time um, in December of 2021, right here. Bring this down a little bit so y'all can see. So this was quite the move right here. Yeah, the 16th, right? This is where this tanked. And then 2 days after that, it just continued to that downtrend. So last year, so always, and the thing is go back in time, set the levels for the quad witching. It's like, look, you don't have to be scared of it. Just play it the other way. You can short things on the share side. You can play puts on the option side and borrow against whatever your positions are um, that you have in this scenario, right? So you don't have to be totally fearful of it, but it's important to be cognizant of it and to be aware of what are the trends and the patterns that are happening, and then to be able to have a perspective moving forward with it, right? So this here was the quad witching of last year, and you can see that it really kind of opened up here at 472, fell all the way down to 466. Now for the S&P, look, a $6 move is pretty hefty, right? And then this ended up over the course of 2 more days, ends up falling from 472 to 450. So it fell $27 in 2 days, which is huge. And look, and if you follow Day Trade Professor, he shorts a lot of things too. So you can make money on both sides. It's not just about buying things. I don't really play the downside a whole lot. I might for 2024 actually. On the dips, I might get a little bit more aggressive. I've been a little conservative this year. So I might actually get a little bit more aggressive in playing both sides this coming into 2024. But
you coming out?
My man,
you coming out of the closet?
Who's that? Man, that's the GOAT.
You playing both sides?
Batting for both teams. For all of you who don't know this, the one and only Gerald Peters, the GOAT, the man of the hour. I asked him to come on if he wanted to join me, talk about the market to himself, chime in on the things that I was talking about. So if you're not following him, give him a follow on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Tap into his content because it's the content I follow, the content Chris follows. GP Full Auto 11 on everything. He's the man. He is
trade man. All I ever see him is on a yacht somewhere.
Yeah, he's somewhere.
He's rich. Bitcoin billionaire.
That's it. He's doing his thing in Bitcoin, crushing it, trying to put us all on.
Not to put him on display, but I guess he already did. The when me and you were at his house, you remember those computers in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of Bitcoin on there.
Yeah, no,
It was a lot cheaper.
yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like we were in the
Yep.
kitchen.
Yep.
I saw it with my own eyes. So if anybody's oh, I don't know if this guy's telling the truth. I
Uh,
saw it. I've been calculating it ever since.
well, his whole thing was to get 100 Bitcoin.
I
That was
know
his
when I
whole.
saw the number, because I'm nosy, and I got home, I told him I wrote it down, man. I was calculating. I'm like, my God,
Yeah.
I love it. I'm happy. I'm happy. It's beautiful.
Look, and it's all, look, man, taking it back, giving you your flowers, Gerald, of like it's all what you started, man. It's all what you started with the money flow, and somebody like Chris who had the knowledge and the capital right from the start, and just the desire, the hunger. That's really what it was. It didn't matter if he had 250,000 or if he had $250. The fact
Exactly.
was he and look, I want everybody to understand that. For everybody who's on this training tonight, it doesn't matter how much money you have in your account right now. If you have the desire, if you have the hunger for it, if you have the thirst to excel in the stock market and to know your stuff and to be a sniper, to be a guru like Gerald, to be as sharp as Chris,
Mm.
it goes so far. If you could have all the money in the world and be a total rock and be a total dunce and have no motivation, no inspiration, no desire, right? To just sort of be comfortable or be average. Doesn't matter. You're not going to go very far. You're going to get outworked and outbeat by the guy who's got $250 throwing all of his sweat, throwing all of his tears at the market, ready to just change his whole life. And you're going to be sitting on your $250,000 just comfortable, complacent, not wanting to grow, but you're going to get outworked by the smaller guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So kudos to you, man. You've paved the way for so many people, myself included, and I really appreciate you always coming on here and being so kind. When I text you, when I call you, to always want to hop in on the discussions with me, to chop things up for everybody, to drop gems for the people. So I appreciate you, man.
Hell yeah. And the market's been, it's man, unless you've been trying to short it like a dummy, it's been beautiful. Um, you know what you were saying there earlier about you just lean to the up, and you know that the core of my teaching is that 70% of the time stocks go up. So
Was I you know and I showed everybody just prior to whenever you came on, is that I don't know if and I don't know if you can see my screen or not, but it's a 25-year chart of the S&P 500. It's only going in one direction.
right.
It's kind of scary when you look at it that in 2009 it was $50 a share. It's $470 a share now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And even if you take a look at like say Apple was like 19 cents in 2009, I think. Something crazy.
And obviously nobody probably would have thought to buy it then. You know, you'll see ads do that, but you don't even have to, right? Like if you're following
Mm-hmm.
the flows of the market and you
Mm-hmm.
get some skills and you
Mm-hmm.
catch a big earnings beat, or it gets caught up in some drama. We saw that this year. Look at the chance we got with Tesla this year, the
Mm-hmm.
chance we got with Nvidia. I mean, there's been so many, right? Uber,
Yep. Yep.
Bitcoin. I mean, the list goes on and on of things that just got pummeled.
Yep.
And if you had skills, I
Yep.
mean, either swing trading it, day trading it, or I mean, you know, I do all the above. And then I was joking with my wife. I said, the beginning of the year, I have, you know, my little day trade channel.
Mm-hmm.
It was $16 TQQ.
Mm-hmm.
We were day trading. I'm buying 1,000 shares for 16 grand. Today was 48. 48,000. So, you know, they look at me and go, why didn't you just buy and hold it? Why are you doing all that in and out? I don't know. We like to do that too.
Because we're toxic. We like toxicity,
I'm
man.
pretty, man. I want to do it all, man.
No, it's true. Yeah. So, like, I mean, Apple. So, okay. So, not 2009, but 2003, it was 19 cents a share, right? That's like, what? When did the internet come out? Like,
Yeah, that's
I,
crazy, man.
like, that was like pre, like, you know, internet, right? To what was it? Like, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't,
honestly, I was with the first wave to do online trading. Like they were because of the internet, we were trading on the internet.
Yeah, I think the internet was like 99 or something like that, or
Right.
96. So like 3 or 4 years after the internet and that whole bubble, Apple
We
goes to $19, 19 cents a share and then explodes to 197 today. Like it's, man, it's like when you zoom out and you look at these 20, 25 year charts of
Mhm.
these individual stocks, it's so wild to me.
I'll give you another one. MFA is a mortgage REIT I own. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's I can think of 10 of these off the top of my head that did what Apple did there,
Mm-hmm.
where I owned it at $7. It pays a 12% dividend yield. This is not going to grow and run up, right? When the virus happened, they
Yeah.
didn't quite have their books. They didn't have their hedges on. They had just taken them off, dude,
During COVID.
at 12x leverage.
I see.
And they literally went bankrupt. And it should have went bankrupt, but other people stepped in because they knew their book is good. They just didn't hedge themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at my computer and it goes in 1 week from $7 to 12 cents.
Hmm.
And at 12 cents, I'm like, hey, I'm not even looking at it anymore. Because
Yeah.
but part of me said, well, buy 10,000 shares. And it's like, why keep losing money? Like, that's what I was
Yep.
thinking. It's back to $7 and still paying a dividend. I could have got rich.
Yeah.
Like, I can give you 10 of them, dude, right now that happened in the last 24 months.
Hmm.
And you know what a lot of people do? They dump them and ran. Now,
Yeah. This is where so
trading.
this is right there where the MFA went down, right? $19
Yeah,
all the
dude,
way
I
down.
was sitting at my computer and I bought some at 25 cents. Now look where the dividend is 12% now.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I'll give you another one. Put PNNT in.
PNNT.
Yep. And I'd owned it for 5 years prior, 10 years. I mean, maybe longer. It's in my buy and hold. I wasn't going to sell it. It is a ride or die. Like,
Mm-hmm.
except, and then go back to the
The
old virus.
yeah, we got to go back a couple years. So I'll go back 3
I wish
years.
all the influencers would come up with a name for it so we could just say the same thing. Like we don't get that way with our channels don't get.
Yeah. We're all on the same page.
I tried to do a video with some of my friends for YouTube the other day, and I'm like, dude, you can't say the R word, bro. Like there's
Right.
words you can't say, the C word. Like you can say a lot of, but you can't just throw out crazy shit, man. Like,
Yep.
okay, where are we at? The
But
March.
yeah, I got to go back. I think I got to go back a year. I went a year too short. So we got 2020.
Dollar.
Yeah. Right here, right?
Guy that runs
Dollar
this,
20.
the guy that runs this, a guy named Arthur, I forget his name now, Arthur, whatever. Penitude, Arthur Penn. The whole firm's named after this dude. He basically is a guy like Chris or us or just a trade, made a lot of money, made his own firm, started, he's all into like lending and holding bonds and basically runs a firm, leverages it and pays dividends.
Yeah.
He's the largest shareholder. So whenever they pay a dividend, his dividend is like 30 million. He gets paid like 100 million a year just in dividends, not his salary.
Yeah.
So when this fell to, guess what he did when it fell to $1? Yeah, he bought tons of it and never stopped the dividend, dude. And he paid it just at $1, and the dividend bought me like 400 shares.
I see.
Like
yeah,
he
that's
never stopped it. Like he paid it with his own money. I got 10 of these. I can show you in the last 24 months. It could have made me, Exxon. I bought a bunch of 20 something dollars, but I actually sat here and contemplated going to the bank and borrowing $100,000 and buying, all Exxon with it, 5,000 shares.
I remember you talking about that at one point when I first, stumbled upon your stuff when you were talking about that. Those early positions of, when things were really getting smacked and contemplating buying those things just purely on credit.
And the reason I was able to even do that is one, I don't carry debt. So if I want debt, they'll give me a shit ton of debt, dude. I got 17 properties, $1 million in the stock market. If I'm willing to put up some hedge, like they're like, here, how much do you want? So you want to use that responsibly.
Yeah.
Like I don't see anything right now I would do that with. I did borrow money to buy Uber and I borrowed money to buy Bitcoin. The reason is I didn't have enough, man. Because I also
Yeah.
do real estate. I'm also a trader. So I need to day trade. You need, you need 25 grand minimum to day trade.
Yeah.
And so I like to keep about 100 in mine.
Yeah.
So to me, everything is a different bucket, right? So I'm a swing trader. You
Mm-hmm.
do options. That's its own little business.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could get acting making you money, you're teaching, you're making money. You're making a grand or two with options. You got swing trades going. You got that, you know what I mean? And they're all got their little place. They all have their bucket, man, the dividends. And I think what happens to a lot of people is because they have their finances out of whack, they never actually build the base and all these different things. So when something bad happens, they're like, oh shit, I got to sell all my crypto, man. I got to pay bills.
Yeah. You were doing a live, the other day, and I wanted to touch on this for the people that are in here too. As we go towards the end of the year, and we're, this whole like new year, new me sort of thing. I don't know if I necessarily believe all that stuff. It's like, look, this is what I really want to say to everybody in here, is that it's about building good habits, right? Your good habits turn into good behavior. And if you can do those, like a lot of people, they write down their goals,
Right.
and it's just the goal that they're writing down, but they don't sort of micromanage that goal into, okay, well, what does that goal entail in terms of behavior? What do I have to do? What do I have to change? And a lot of the times, those goals and ambitions that people are setting for themselves are so far outside of who their character is
Yeah.
that it becomes unattainable, right? So to everybody in here, it's really about, Gerald always says, you don't have to get it right, you just got to get it going. It's all you got to do, is just, you got to start. Gerald started with one share at one point. I started with one share at one point. Chris started with one share at one point, and you slowly build up. But it's really about the consistency of your good habits that are going to pave that way for you. Right.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And, at the end of the day, I think you only trade and invest your philosophy,
Yeah.
the way you see
What,
the world, the way you see life.
so and I think that, look, everybody that didn't panic while the market was getting smacked at the first part of the year and all of last year, the people that weren't panicking during that time, and they were scooping up the shares of Nvidia and Tesla and Netflix and all these companies that were getting smacked at 80-90% down from their all-time highs, right? The people that went in and bet on themselves, these next 2 to 3 years, they're really going to pay off.
Yeah. And what you'll notice, this is what people got to get to. When I first started doing what I was doing and teaching, I was really doing a lot of dividend stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then growth just exploded, man. All of a sudden, the memes and all that shit took off. And I would have people that's all they owned.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, well, you really kind of own one thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you own 30 tech stocks, you are not diversified.
Right.
It's like owning 30 oil stocks. You're
Yeah.
in the oil business.
Right. Once those tech stocks tank, that's it. Your whole
Right.
portfolio is just going to be bleeding forever.
And what I, yeah. And what you, Ray Dalio talked, I'm not a super big fan of Ray, but he really talks a lot about this.
Mm-hmm.
His is super simplified, and that's what I do with my Sunday homework. It's like, okay, I'm always in crypto.
Yep.
It's just what's weighted the most and where, and then in everything that I'm in, they're like, okay, what's the quick trade? What's the buy and hold trade? What's
Mm-hmm.
the swing trade?
Yep.
I want to do all three. So you could own Celsius in your buy and hold. Well,
Mm-hmm.
damn, that don't mean we can't swing trade it or day trade it.
Right.
And I met a guy once that held like over $1 million in Exxon, lived on the dividends, and then he day traded the stock in a separate account.
Mm-hmm.
He knew everything you could possibly know about Exxon. Like he had an advantage over me and you.
Yeah, but that's part of it too, is that I always tell everybody in the Wealth Squad too, and the people that I've talked to in the Money Flow in the Discord there, is that all of these stock charts have personalities just in the same way that you and I do, and they all have different ways in which they move. And so the more that you spend time with them, right, it's just like socializing, just like going out to dinner with friends. Go to dinner with the stock charts, look at the stock charts, look and see how they move. And once you know their personality and the trends that they have, it gives you a competitive advantage over everybody else who's trying to learn the stock market, or trying to sort of implement their own trading strategies. Once you know the personalities of how they move in terms of like the sector rotation and all that stuff, like it, that element of investing and trading becomes easy at that point.
Yeah, right. Let me give you an example. Can you pull up the chart of PILL, PILL?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's a week ago, maybe longer, where markets hitting 70 RSIs.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody else, I kind of expect he'll pull back, but I'm not going to change anything. But when that's happening, I'm like, okay, what's the worst sector in the stock market? Well, it's biotechnology. It's these biotech stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Pfizer,
Yeah.
Moderna, Amgen. They were the only stocks that were down. They were the only ones trading below the 200-day with that paid dividends.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about the little ones. I'm talking about the big ones. So I'm okay. How do we leverage that? Well, we could buy the IBB. And if I was an options trader, I probably would have bought the IBB, which is, but this here is the 3 times leverage of the IBB. So put in IBB and it should look exactly the same. And that's where your options action is probably going to be.
Yeah.
Now look at that. You go check my report, very bottom, baby. Why? Because I follow the stock market every day. Good days, bad days, don't give a shit. Birthday, Christmas, holiday, vacation. There ain't a day that any human being could get me not to follow it. That gives me an edge over everyone. And this is a player eat player game, man. I think. Now, that said, me and you are friends. And I said to you, pull up Uber. I said, man, I got a problem with Uber, man. I made too much money.
Yep.
I don't want to get hit this tax year. So I said, I think I'm going to buy puts on it. I don't do that a lot. So that's why I text you to see if you had any other,
Yeah. And it's so interesting with Uber, man, is because part of me feels like, you look at the stock chart like this, and I don't use the RSI as like a real-time indicator. I don't let it be like the things like, oh, it's extreme and it's gonna tank at this point. For me, I don't always use it in that real-time indicator. And with Uber, in terms of the company and the outlook and where it's going, I feel like if it does pull back, it's probably not going to pull back very far. It's just going to keep going.
100%. This is a $300 stock. I mean,
Yeah.
they'll split it, but just trade purposes, I had a big win. I borrowed money on it. So I need to settle that. And I want to push some of it to some fixed income, making 12, 13% yields. And then on the, keep a big portion. And then, like you said, when it pulls back, I'm going to start loading back up, man. And hopefully from the dividends of the thing, I'm going to invest the winnings in.
Yeah. So I went and looked at it after you texted me. And I was looking at if you wanted to hedge it with any of the puts, that for me, if I were to look at them, I would probably look at did I mark it? I thought I marked it. I would probably look at least March or April.
Okay, so you went out a little further than me.
Actually, I'd probably go February. I'd probably me personally, I would probably go the $55 February 16th puts.
That's dude,
$55
I swear
puts.
to God, that is exactly what I did.
That's what we do, man. We always been on the same page, GP. Always, man. Always,
crazy.
Same stocks, all of it. Those are the ones that I would choose, though. That if I were to hedge puts against this, it would be the $55 puts.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you, which is why I wanted to call you instead of texting it to you, just because my fingers be getting tired when I text.
Yeah.
if you're trading the options on it, are you opening a new position in options with the puts, or are you doing the cash secured puts against your shares?
Oh no, I opened a total separate position.
I see.
I
Okay.
actually did it on margin too.
Okay.
And now I ain't using my money, man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to keep mine. So if I could get it, I wouldn't even mind if it did come down. That might work out perfect. And then I close these out for a little gain and roll it and buy some Uber shares, and up we go into next year.
Well, I think
I mean, that
I
would be the
think
perfect layup.
yeah, I think if Uber does pull back, I mean, I think it ends up pulling back to the 50, at
Yeah.
least maybe to like this area right here where it sort of goes sideways and then runs right back up, but it has this little like 2 day sideways motion here around 57. I think I don't see Uber sort of falling. I don't see it falling below 54, where this sort of levels off right here. But I
Yeah,
would
I
say
don't
it probably
either.
sits. I would say it probably sits up higher if it even falls back that far. I would say maybe it just hangs out here around 60, where these strong candles are, if anything.
Yeah,
Because
and
what
you're
what
probably
does it
right.
move?
And I
What
bought those yesterday. I was like, man, I'm gonna do this ahead of the Fed. The Fed drops me 6, $7. I'm gonna be mad. That's
Yeah,
what I was afraid of, man. So I was like, it's cheap insurance. And we got a bit of time yet. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I just wanted to get into the next tax year.
yeah. Let me drop this in the squad for the folks. So the Uber $55. Shoot, let me write this a different way.
I mean, today,
Uber.
everything worked today, man.
Yeah, today was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I was day trading today and it was just, I didn't get enough in, man. It took off and it was like crazy. I've been
Where
hot
do you
though.
you've been killing it on the day
I
trades.
have, man.
You've
I've
been
been hot. I've been getting it refined now. I got my setup. I got my hot buttons. I got the today I was in the zone like I haven't been. It was trading in the zone. Like it was
hmm.
that runner's high. You know what I mean? Where you could run all day. We could have traded for 24 straight, man. I was on the it was fun, man. I had music going. I live streamed for 2.5 hours of it.
You got that Pedialyte in your veins, the Pedialyte and the Beat Elite.
Yeah, I want to change it up a little where I need someone to run the equipment so I can stand up and trade and we
Mhm.
have the monitors on the walls
Mhm.
and then switch from me to the monitor that I'm talking about. And then we could rotate around. I got some ideas on that. I'd like to do more live streaming, but it's hard to live stream, teach the class and trade and run the
Mhm.
tech. Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
little difficult.
It is a lot with where the market's at now, sitting at the at really like right at its all-time highs.
Small caps where it's at, man. IWM is going to catch up.
Hmm.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna
I
put
think
I'll
that's the
pull
only
up
play
this
we got left.
with IWM.
That's it. That's the only one. It's everything else is run. If
Where
I
do,
was a hedge fund manager looking right now, the only thing left is the IWM, man.
where do you so going into 2024, I think the market's going to rally.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we got to
you
stay.
you thinking the same thing?
Yeah, I think you always have to be bullish or you're a dumbass. I'm just being real, man. It's always chumps too. Everybody trying to get shorter always they've been in the market 3 years or less. You
Yeah,
think that's how the fuck everybody got rich was being bearish?
yeah.
Who the fuck owns real estate that got rich by not owning houses?
Hmm.
I mean, you have to own stocks in order to get rich. You have to own assets. So who do you see that's rich going, oh no, man, I definitely don't want to own assets or dividends or real. They're buying things, guys. Like you should be always buying things. Now that's not trading though. You can be over here accumulating stocks all the time, and over here you're shorting the damn market. And that's the that's fine that you can hedge it or short it. Like if I'm day trading the trends to the downside, we're shorting.
Hmm.
That has nothing to do with my Exxon position.
IWM is like perfect money flow.
Did it jump today that big, dude?
Yeah, it went from
Okay.
187 to 193.
Yeah. Well, that up till yesterday, that was my come up play, but now it's already damn. Look at that.
I mean, shout out to you, right? Shout out to you with the money flow, man. I mean, you look at it, it's like picture perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. God showed me that. You see
It's
it?
straight up. It's
Yeah.
so perfect. It's just there. All of it. The whole entire way. It's just there.
Look at LVS real quick. This one was yesterday in Discord. I was like, guys, I'm not going to take this trade, but if I was hungry for a trade, I'd be all over this. I just didn't have the money.
Oh, Las Vegas Sands.
Yeah, and it was so money flow setup, man. It was like
I was looking at a lot of the entertainment stuff too. I was very, very close to going in on a swing trade on. I actually still might. I need to go and I meant to look at it today and I didn't. Looking at TKO, um, TKO Endeavor, TKO I like the most. But the gaming industry, the gambling industry, this whole sector too is starting to go crazy now.
yeah. And then this one we're in Coney, CONY. That thing
Mhm.
defies logic. It's got 105% dividend yield and it tracks Bitcoin. It's like, come on, man. Come on, man.
So this being at where
Yeah.
did you get in on this?
Day one, man. We're all
I
over
I
these, man.
I I know before.
Remember, I text you about them.
Yeah, yeah. I I I know that you don't mess with the IPOs right out of the gate,
Yeah.
but
But
for
these aren't
some,
that. Yeah, these are different.
yeah, something I was, in terms of clarification for people that don't know,
Yeah.
is a slightly different model, right? That it's the option side of
Yeah. Basically,
Bitcoin.
what they do is they IPO right around $20. They get like
Hmm.
$100 million. They put it all in 5% treasury bonds.
Hmm.
And then they margin against that to buy and sell a synthetic position against a stock,
Hmm.
whether it be Tesla. This one is Coinbase. So Coinbase has done its thing. This thing, the volatility in this has been off the hook.
Yeah.
So they're paying huge premiums. So the dividend yield right now has been like 10, 12% a month.
Do you think that will last, or is that,
No, this defies logic. Like
yeah? How
it's
long? How
killing it.
long? What's the time frame of that? Like whenever those new companies they IPO, they go, they IPO at like $500 and they go down to 40,
No,
right?
well, this has all its money is in treasury bonds. And
Mhm.
every day they're in there buying and they're sell just like the QQQY. What is that one? QQQLD, QLD.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
just creating option premium. So um but you know what happens whenever you pay a dividend, your shit drops by the dividend because the NAV, the
Hmm.
money comes out of the fund.
Hmm.
So with this one is like the dividend this on this one is for this pay around, which pays tomorrow for me is $2.40 something cents per share.
And
It's
that's
20,
court,
I mean,
quarterly.
no, monthly.
Monthly.
Yeah, man, I put like almost 50 G's in these as fast as I could when I saw what they were doing. Now,
Hmm.
some of them have gone down, but the dividends coming out are huge. And so there's like 20 of them now. You really need to read it and try to understand it because they're not designed to go up like this, you
Hmm.
know, except because the reason this one has gone up is Bitcoin went damn parabolic. I mean, that doesn't typically happen, to a stock. It doesn't typically do that. So
For the
they
for
got
the
one
people.
for AI. They have one for all different. They got one for Exxon. That's the one I've been buying now
Hmm.
because it's going down.
For the people that follow the money flow, for the people that don't know it in terms of, the stocks and, ETFs moving in the four different stages. Say you come across something like this, they didn't catch it when you caught it.
Right.
At what point do you wait to get into this, right? It's obviously tracking Bitcoin, so it's, as Bitcoin rises, this is going to continue to keep going up also. So at what point
I would just
do
buy
do
some. I mean, usually what I do in that situation is I just buy a little.
and just scale your way into it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What if it keeps going? Cool. So I'll
Right.
buy 100 shares. I mean, you don't know it's gonna. I mean, nobody knows it's gonna come down. It might keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See that's it. I started that as the core. I really believe I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So when I meet someone who goes, "Oh, well, I think that's going to go down," well, you actually don't know shit, sir. You really don't. You have no idea. You have no record of that. You don't run a hedge fund. No country calls you to ask for your insight into economics. You actually have no fucking idea where anything is going.
Mm-hmm.
The sooner you realize that, the more you can just be in flow, man. And you just ride. I mean, that's what I do. I ride the money flow.
That
And
just everything is bullish.
yes. I mean, who can argue with me? Who here can go, well, Gerald, one time the world ended. It has never happened.
Right.
The only people that are bearish are dipshits, dude. They are not smart people. It's just history. Pull up a chart.
Right.
Like, I mean, I don't know what else to say. If you look when your dad was born, that is our edge. Our edge is that index funds work. And the reason they work is stocks go up.
Yep.
Not all of them. That's the thing, so you can't buy a penny stock and go, Gerald said all stocks go up. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the general wave of the market. We still got to use our brains and get in there and pick which stocks are riding this wave. And if the market's going up, most stocks are going up. That is detached from trading. And I think sometimes people they're really mixing them together. So I can over here be very, very bullish in my buy and hold and short the shit out of the market in my day trading account over here. And then stop and switch and go long on a stage one on it over here. Because the market is fractal. There's layers,
When somebody was asking in the chats in terms of, I use a lot of screeners for me just to filter through, I'll set the parameters of whatever budget, percentage gain, whatever, to sort of filter out all the garbage, right? Because there's a lot of charts that you look at, like 90% of them are garbage.
Yes.
And then the solid ones, which is also a lot, you got maybe 10% that are going to be solid. So I use the screeners to help me filter all that out. But for you, when I know, and you've got 30 plus years in the game, how are you finding all of the stocks? What are you using? Just the normal everyday things. And this is just mainly for the people in here who don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do this old-fashioned thing called look at fucking charts. Yeah, I mean, I just look at charts. And when you look at charts every day, lots of charts, guess what happens? You get pretty damn good at looking at charts.
Where of your process though, where are you starting? Like, are you looking at a specific
top down? So Sunday, I'm planning all this out on Sunday. Sunday night, I'm gonna go through all 118 stocks I own. I am not gonna lay my little sweet head down until I do this.
So you start with your positions first.
Yeah, right here. They're whiteboarded every week. So if you do that for a year, 52 times you're going to do this. And the next guy doesn't do it. That's why I'm better than him. Player eat player, baby. Don't do it. I'll take your money. I hope everyone doesn't do it. I hope they sell out and panic and go down. Like, we're taking people's money. When you buy a share, you took that share from somebody. This is a player eat player game, man. And there's people who are very dedicated and very smart who have machines who don't give a fuck about you or your family. They're getting up to take your money. And that's how I approach it, man. This is war, dude. And it's also a game, and it's winnable by anyone. They don't care if you're white, tall, black, blue, green. They don't care. Anybody can play, man. And so you need to take it very, very serious. And every Sunday I start top down. I do the 7 wins. Where's the S&P? Where's the Dow? Where are the Qs? Where's bonds? Where's oil? Where's gold? Where's Bitcoin? You should be able to see all those. Right now, I can see those charts in my head, man. I look at them every day. I look at them before I go to bed. I look at them when I wake up, man. I want to beat you. Like, my goal is 100% a year, man. No, none of this bullshit about can't beat. And I don't even know who those people are. They are dead to me. That's not who I'm worried about. Like, I'm trying to make as much as I can. And I start from the top down. And then as you sort, you see, I rank them 1 through 7. Well, number 1 is going to be the strongest. Well, if I'm looking for swing trades, let's start there. As an investor, I don't want to buy the strongest stocks, right? I need to start sorting through all the number 7s. Where is the bad stocks? Like, who's not doing well?
Right.
And then I want the best of that group.
When you see the ones that, for instance, some of these other ones that just got smacked 80-90%,
right?
What's your, for me, if it's something like Tesla or if it's something like Netflix, for me, it's about honestly, like I wish a lot of stocks would just tank and just burn to the ground so I can buy more of them. Just to give yourself the opportunity. But in terms of that criteria for you, when you're
you're just
going in on
down
those,
doesn't mean anything,
right?
Because the stock went down is not a reason to buy. And that's also too, because so we got to look, okay, what sector is it in?
Mhm.
Is it just this one stock in this sector? Like maybe they missed earnings and it's cloud computing and the sector's doing great, but these
Mhm.
guys jacked it up. That's
Mhm.
probably a quick recovery.
Mhm. If it's just if it's a singular stock, but
Singular stock,
if
right?
it's multiple ones, there's probably something.
Yeah,
The
you
the
could have
the
the best stock in a shitty sector and it don't matter. It ain't going up, man.
Yeah.
You know? So you got to use your brain when it comes to that. So I'm gonna look and see, okay, what kind of stock is this? And you're like, oh, well, it's a VF Corp. Okay.
Mhm.
So they're in the clothes business. All right. Who are they competing against? We got Abercrombie and Fitch, we got Kohl's, we got Dillard's, we got Macy, right?
Mhm.
Where are these stocks? Are they in the news? Like I'm just off the top of my head. I'm trying to, I might
Mhm.
even text a friend, hey man, you work at Dillard's. What's going on over there? Like,
Mhm.
you know that if I'm in a store, I'm taking a picture of their shit. Like you've been around me. And
Yeah.
if somebody works there, I'm asking them, hey, you like it here, man? You guys sell a lot of shit, man. You own any shares?
You
Like,
own it? You own any? I always love that on like your IG stories when you do that, when you walk up to the Amazon guy, like, hey man, you own Amazon shares.
if he's like, hell no, man, this company sucks.
I started doing that too with people that I see like at the stores. I'm out in town, whatever else, companies, whatever. I'll say the same things to them. It's funny.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I get a guy who goes, no, I don't own any shares. And I go, is it a shitty company? He goes, no, it's great. And I go, you just dumb. Why wouldn't you buy shares then? They don't know what to say to that.
You
I mean,
can't say anything to it, not at all.
you don't want to build wealth. Like you're just going to work, go about your life. I mean, come on, bro, get your head out of your ass. Like
Exactly.
I did that to a guy with
Exactly.
John Deere, man. I was watching him work on the street and I looked at the John Deere count and that thing went straight up, dude. I can't believe that chart. I never owned it. I don't have a good reason to tell you why either. And I'm watching this guy and I go, man, you're pretty good with that. He goes, man, I've run one of these tractors for 14 years. I pull up the chart. It's like $9 or something, 14. And now it's like 300.
Mm.
And he's been working on it the whole time, all day. And I'm like, you own any? He's like, what do you mean? So he's been sitting on his millions.
Yeah, almost a wasted opportunity, right?
The very tool he used every day for 14 years went from $9 to 300, and he's over here praying, Lord, please send me a sign.
Mm-hmm.
Like, please.
Oh shoot. Hold on, GP. Hold on, I muted you for a second. I didn't mean to. Hold on, GP. I'll turn you back on in a second. I hit the wrong button. GP, I didn't mean to mute you. I heard some chatter in the background, so I was trying to mute the group and I muted you too, but I didn't realize I didn't make you a co-host before. So I was just trying to unmute your mic. I think you can unmute it. I'm trying to unmute it.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. My bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah, man. So I always try to do that. I start top down every Sunday, and then I scan my stocks that I'm personally own, and I see if is there a deal there, is there an opportunity there.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you own it, just because it's down, is not a reason to add to it. It may take some legs down, and like I only recently started aggressively adding to MPW. I mean, I just thought it had more downside. It just wasn't a. I mean, you can, but I think as you play the game for a while, you can get a feel, and the market doesn't forgive easy. And,
Mm-hmm.
and once the market doesn't like you, that can take a while, you know,
Mm-hmm.
once people get burned. A lot of people probably not in the bank stocks right now. Pull up DPST. Should I try to warn everyone in America to buy this?
D, DPST or
Yep, 3 times regional banks. Remember the banks that had the
yep,
banks bust?
yep.
Yeah, we're cashing out on that now. My friends are. And so we started picking it up in the 45 and then again at 30 something. But a lot of people got out of it, man. They got
Back
bored.
in back in October.
Yeah, people forgot about it. They moved on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're closing a 100%er, man. Or
Yeah, I mean that was when all of, I guess, yeah, from like August all
yeah.
the way down until October. That's when all
We've
of the
been
banks,
adding on
all the
stage ones the whole way, man.
yeah, all the banks were getting smacked during that time. I remember them having that decline, and then they just came. All of the banks came out of the woodwork. It was energy stocks, oil stocks, and bank stocks on every single screener that I looked at every single time.
That's all we've been buying.
Yeah, and I think with those two, like for anybody in here who's swing trading these stocks, right? The oil, energy, banks, um, retail, all of these are really, really slow moving stocks. But if you have the patience to
Yeah.
just tie, if you have the patience and the wherewithal to tie up your money for, I'd say what, 3 to 6 months minimum.
Yeah.
If you have that patience at least to tie your money up that long and you're okay with sitting on it, it's always good returns.
Think how crazy that sounds, though, because it took 6 months for us to get a 100%.
I know.
The market average is 9 a year.
Yeah. It's
And my
wild.
guys are like, wow, we got to wait 6 months, bro, to double. And it's like,
Right.
that's the way my friends are. They're like, man, I don't know. That's a long time. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
which is cool if you got those skills,
Yep.
I'm up 104% on the year, 105. I didn't check today. 82, but it's been easy. And if you have skills, when it's easy, you should do extraordinary.
Yep.
And when it's bad, you should do less bad.
Yep.
If everything's bad, you're probably still going to do bad. You just need
Yeah.
to do less bad.
Yep. And it's, and that's the thing is like everyone wants to have this big dramatic change in their portfolio when shit's getting smacked, right? They want to do less
tough.
bad, but they want to switch everything overnight to just be green and everything's running and everything's all beautiful. But sometimes just that 2% change, 3% change of just getting better is what really keeps you in the game and keeps you above water until things turn around. Eventually it does get better. Eventually it all does turn around.
Yeah. And when you get into the world of trading, it's just, I like that guy, Mike Belafort, runs SMB Capital. He's got a book out called One Good Trade. And it's like every trade is just one good trade. This trade has nothing to do with the last trade you did. If the last trade you took is in your head, you are already losing this trade. What would that have to do with this?
Right.
And so if you're adjusting how much you're going to bet to try to make up for something, you already lost again because you're going to make your money over hundreds and thousands. I did 174 trades this month. What am I going to do? Get all out of shape because of one?
Yeah.
So you're going to make your money, especially if you start like trying to day trade or options trade. And if you lose, don't try to make it back on the third one. Just keep doing what you were doing and you'll catch a series of winners and let your winners run and let your losers cut them short, man. It does work like that.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm convinced I could beat most people. We just pick something in the morning. I flip a coin. I'm long, short, and then let's go. And I'll play that side. You play that side. And I bet I beat you, man. Not you in particular. I'm just saying most people.
Look, I know where I stand in the food chain. I know who's better than me. It's all the same people that I chase and that I look up to and my mentors, but it's the people that I stick close to. It's the people that I follow really, really intently.
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes you get lucky in that if you do, man, God bless you, run with it, do the smart thing,
Yep.
You see a lot of young dudes, they get lucky. The first thing they do is buying a car. And it's like, God damn, dude, I thought you weren't dumb.
I guess
I
I
don't
was.
impress nobody but kids, man. Like a guy like me, you need to be buying some shit, dude, like an apartment, putting that money in it. I mean, see some 10,000 shares of, this closed end fund, put it in something that's going to make money.
Yep.
You want to be under the radar. You don't want your family to know you're loaded. You don't want your friends to know you're loaded. You don't want chicks to know you're loaded, man. You're trying to get rich and look homeless. That's if you actually have skills at this, you don't need to do any of that. You don't need any of that stuff, man. You're chilling at home. I mean, trade wherever you want, man. Like, what if you got a house by the river, man? Like, what do you need to? You don't even know anybody here, man.
Yep. Protecting the peace.
Move to Maui, man. Rent a nice condo and start over.
Yep.
Yeah, I can trade anywhere in the world. I mean, it takes a while. That's the part people miss, is you got to get that base.
When it's a beautiful thing though too, is when you get to that point. Look, into anybody who's on here, is that look, once you get over $10,000 into some stock or some investment, or it's what you're trading with, your money moves so fast from that point. That's like the baseline. $1,000, it starts to move, but when you get to $10,000 and you start playing with that, that's when your money really starts to move. And then obviously you start playing with some more, it goes higher and higher with your risk and your education and all that stuff. But when you get to that point, you can start playing with a little bit more. You can start risking a little bit more and being more aggressive, and realize like that path for you getting to that $100,000 portfolio or to those 3,000 a month dividends, it's not that small if you just stick to the plan.
I'm gonna collect 3,300 this week in dividends, and I've been green every day this week day trading.
My man, you better close the laptop one of these days and just enjoy the day.
This morning I woke up and I was like, man, I don't want to lose, man. Maybe if I did trade.
That's it. That's it.
I thought about it, dude. And I said, damn, you shouldn't even have thought about it, dude. Like, why'd you think?
I know. Right. That's what you put out, right? That's what you put out. But I'm the same way. If I got smacked on a couple of options trades. I got into, what did I get into? I got into OKTA. I got smacked. I had really good gains on Okta, and then I got smacked on my next two trades. And then after I got smacked on those two trades, one of them took off and made its way back, but it wiped out all of my gains from my banger trade that I had. And it does. And so even for me, I was like, man, I need to just close this laptop and sit on the sidelines and just take a day off, take a week off. Because
sometimes it helps. Sometimes though, you just got to get back up, pick your shield up. Let's go.
Yeah. And that's it. It's like, that's the other side. It's like, don't be a bitch.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to get up, man. Let's do it again. Come on. Let's do it again.
That's it. MJ played with the flu. Allen Iverson, he played with broken limbs. Kobe played with dislocated thumbs.
I'll tell you what I did the other day, though, because we had a hot streak, man, like 14 or 15 days green. Day trading, So I literally start the day off and I'm like, I'm just going to do little trades. And I just do like 100 shares, normally doing 500 to 1,000. And in my mind, I'm like that way. And then they're all just killing it. I'm like, that's what I get for being, for playing down. I'm playing down because I won. Who does that?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of reverse psychology is that? You're killing it. And so now you think you have to lose. Like, you don't have to.
It's great that you do the live streams and the live trade. That's the one aspect I haven't done within the Wealth Squad and with everyone is the live trade. So I think maybe this 2024 I might have to pop in there and join the team and do some
we should do it as a
live trading.
That would be fun to do it together on YouTube. And
the Wealth Squad versus the Money Flow gang. Two heavyweights, toe to toe.
You know what we could do? One of us takes one side and the other one take the inverse side, and we'll flip for it so it's fair, right?
Well, you're going to take the inverse side because anybody who knows me in the Wealth Squad, they know I don't play puts.
I'll do that.
They know I don't short stuff because I'm not a negative person. That's my excuse.
Yeah. And then I'll take the other side of that. And then, of course, one of us will have probably the deck stacked against us. But even every day there's runs, downs, and ups. And I had a buddy of mine the other day text me, and he was doing shorts of all the longs. I made money. And when I texted him, he's like, yeah, man, I was up $300. So he made money that day trading the SQ, and I made money that day trading just at TQQ. What happened was the days just flowed perfect. So the sell-offs were nice and long. Those were his breakouts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is if you try to do both in your own mind, you can't catch that center part where the money's really made at entry. You know, you're going to be off
Yep.
on it. And so you got to pick a side and stay on that side.
Yep.
I've never, you know, maybe some other people's brains, but to me, by the time you realize it's the other one, you've missed the entry.
Yeah. But those entry points, you know, they matter so much.
Oh, especially day trade. You know that 1,000 shares times fucking 8 cents is like
Yeah.
that's the money, man.
Yep. And it, you know, it messes with your nerves too. Messes with your nerves. Somebody was asking if Triple M had room to run.
Oh no, those are coming down. I mean, after today, fuck, who knows, right?
Yeah. Well, this is what I would say in there too, is that look, if you know, if you're just looking at this chart for anybody who's invested into 3M, or you're thinking about trading it, if you just look at this chart as it is already, right, you can already tell from here that this has already peaked out almost 4 times at the same exact level around like 107 where it's at right now. And what happens every time? It goes to the downside, went to the downside, went to the downside. So it's probably going right back to the downside.
And I would call that a supply zone.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get confused of what is supply and support or resistance. I mean, and they are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're both saying there is anytime it got up there, there's a seller big enough to take it down.
Yep. In terms of you meaning like an institution, right?
Right. Because you see it hung out for a day or two. Well, that's called distribution.
Yeah.
They're distributing the shares and then it goes down because there's no buyers, you know, and that is supply. And then demand is the opposite of that, where you get these long sideways where they're buying up all the shares. They stop it from dropping, you know?
Yep. Here's the thing too. Anybody who doesn't know stock charts, look, you got to leverage technology too. These tools do all the work for you in terms of just being able to understand things and to help you make decisions. Like this is the auto support resistance. It already has the internal algorithms and the level set of, you know, based on the chart. So you can pull it to any level, right? It's going to show you over here on the corner, like, okay, it's obviously telling you to scoop this up. It's at a buy zone. It's at an area where it's bullish in whatever way, right? But you take it to the top of where it's at now and you see where it switched to where it changes the colors to where it's telling you, okay, it's probably time to start selling it at these points. If you just follow basic blueprints and basic principles, it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Don't have to overcomplicate it. Like it's literally telling you what to do.
Yeah.
It's not always right, but
it's layers. I mean, we layer that in with,
right.
You know, for me, I'm looking at 6 things and I'm looking for confluence.
Yep.
I want to see at least, I mean, I'd like to see 4 of them at least agreeing.
Yeah. And I think if we went back another year, right? If I went back to 2022 on this chart, we would see the other point on the other side, unless it was higher than that. I'm not sure of where it was back in 2022. But I think most of the times when I look at the trends on the chart, it ends up happening when you go back in time. I'll go back another year and just see if I'm right.
Like, yeah. It's always comical to me when I hear people say the indicators don't work. And it's like, I don't even know how you can say that.
It's right here. Same way.
Yeah.
It's all right here.
Look at that massive sloping down channel, man. It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, this that's killer if they got into that there. That was at what, 80, 85, and it's at 104. Yeah, wild.
What stock is this?
That's Triple M.
Okay. Yeah, Triple M's had a lot of troubles, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would just buy it. This is going to be like BA. Once you get on the shit list, it is hard to get off, dude.
Yep.
And they've had one lawsuit after another. Walgreens is on the same list.
Yep.
And once a company's on it, and then all of a sudden it's off it and it flies, and it'll probably be a new CEO or some new thing or a merger or something will do it, and they'll clear something, and then they just rip. You'll look back and go, well, yeah, that was obvious. And it's like you just got to stay with it, man. Just keep dripping on those stage ones, and don't expect it.
Mhm.
That's the other thing that I do. It's like, good, man. I hope it takes 5 years, man. Good. I get it. I'll have a big ass position. Because in
Yeah.
5 years, I need money just like I needed five money today from 5 years ago. I wish GP 5 years ago would have been buying up like Apple and not
Mhm.
complaining when it dropped.
Right.
That will play out your whole life. So the things that I'm using today are things that I planted 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago.
Mhm.
All my big positions, the houses that have made me the money, it's all shit I bought 5 years ago. And then I got that from money that I bought from shit 5 years ago.
And just the consistency of staying with it.
Yeah. So today I'm buying things that I anticipate probably never selling. I mean,
Mhm.
I may trim them at times. Like Delta Airlines, in my opinion, is fair value. Like this is the value of the company.
Yeah.
We bought some lower. I'm gonna trim it, and then I'm just gonna hold my shares, and hopefully they'll expand the multiple. They'll analysts will raise it, and maybe we can run to 50. Cool.
Mhm.
Or we get a pullback, and I get to pick up some more at 33 and ride it back to 40 again. And you can play that game and build your core position each time, trimming a little. But over the years, that core position gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, it looks like I think it'll return back to 50.
Yeah, I do too. And what if it takes, but I'm a guy that believes in lots of positions because I
Mhm.
like to trim, I like to roll money forward.
Mhm.
And I see some people, they're like, oh, I just want to have, four positions and put all my money in it. It's like, okay.
Well, we talked about that a little bit when I was there with you last time,
Mhm.
about our position sizes when, we were both in 70 some positions, and we're like, man, we got to trim these down. It's too much. That just became a lot to just micromanage so many, chopping it down to like 40, 44, 45, I think it is now, somewhere around in there. Um, Even that sometimes feels like a lot, depending on, how the charts are.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think too, it depends on how distracted you are. A lot of
Yeah.
people try to day trade, and it's like, listen, guys, you cannot day trade like I day trade if you're doing something else.
Hmm.
I'm sorry,
Hmm.
you don't get that to do that.
Hmm.
It's not possible. Like I watch it literally on 3 time frames all fucking every day, entering trades. You have no chance to trade like me if you don't do that. No more than you have any chance to play like Iverson if you don't practice like Iverson.
Yep.
I
That
mean, it's
that
unrealistic to expect that.
exactly. It reminds me of that live that you did, and this is what I wanted to mention earlier, and we digressed to something else, but um, I remember you saying on that live the other day about somebody, being at a job or whatever, and then not being able to work, or not being able to build their wealth because of their job, and then you saying, well, why would you work there? And I want to reemphasize that to everybody that's in here now, is that take a really hard look at your life, the jobs you have, where you're allocating your time, and in terms of whatever your vision is to build wealth, to be more active in the stock market, is that, look, if you have a full-time job, you literally only have a window of maybe 2 hours that you can actually do something. If that, you probably have an hour within market hours that you're able to do something, uh, while you have a full-time job. If you're able to look at the charts, if you're at a full-time job and you're not able to look at the charts, then I would highly encourage all of you to find that side hustle, to find something that's going to break you outside of that, because part of it might be, oh, I need this money, I need it to take care of my family, we have this and this. The thing that GP had said on his live, it made me think about my own path. And I walked away from a lot of money in the jobs that I had because it was sucking me away from what I really wanted to do. And that was to act. That was also to be in the stock market and to have the freedom to go and make movies with my friends, to travel, to do all these things. And I have made more money in my life than I have ever since I made that leap for myself. It's scary as fuck. It's hard. It's not easy. It takes a lot of courage, but it'll make all the difference in your life. It'll make all the difference in your family's life and the people that are connected to you, because you'll be inspired. You'll and then inspire them to do the same things. If you're not able, just like GP said, if you're not able to look at the charts and be active in the stock market, then why are you doing the things that you're doing outside of the stock market? What are you doing to reposition yourself that's going to give you the accessibility to the market to be able to make the money? Because there's over 8,000 stocks in the stock market, and you have opportunities every day to earn a higher paycheck than what your job is paying you every day.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's leverageable.
Mm-hmm.
You can only make so much as an attorney.
Yep. It becomes a ceiling on it, right?
Yeah, you can make a fucking billion in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I mean, you started with a big enough, what if you'd have put 10 million in and, and a guy may say, oh, that's out of my thing. Okay, well, you take the number to whatever you believe in, but it's also weird to me to live a life that you would have a job that you can't trade and you have low belief system. Like, what are you doing? Like, that sounds terrible. Like,
yeah.
The first thing you got to do is renew your mind and see the possibilities.
But you talk about this a lot too. It's the specificity of what it is that you're doing, right? Getting really clear on whatever those goals are, whatever you're waking up to do, whatever those buckets are for you. I think the reason that people struggle so much is because they don't have clarity on what those buckets are and what they really entail.
Yeah, Michael knows my wife. Yeah, what do I do when I first wake up? Honestly, what do I do?
Phone gets turned on, we're checking everything.
Checking what?
Markets to news to.
I don't do a cold plunge or meditate.
No.
No, first thing I do is start trading, like within the first 30 fucking seconds that I'm awake.
I know we crushed that coffee. I turn on the coffee pot. I knew what I had to do when I woke up at your house. Let me go turn on the coffee pot for GP.
It's a rule. Coffee comes first before anything that gets turned.
And often I start trading in bed, right? Like I go to sleep with 2 screens so that as soon as I wake up, it's and on, dude. I'm not bullshitting, dude. I'm trying to take everyone's money here. Like, that's how I see it. It's competition. I know everyone, but a lot of people out there like, oh, I don't know. I'm going to go to my, I don't know what you guys are doing. Like, you got to be, this is a game, man. This is like a player eat player. And now you can create trading strategies that aren't that damn aggressive. You can, when I first started, we did end of day trading. I'd get home from work. I'd hit my button and it would download the charts, and it would take about, by the time I finished with dinner, they'd be downloading. That's how long it took. We would make our trades, email it in, and then I'd go to work, man. And I'd get home and I would do this. I was doing that every day for years, man. I would get the charts in the mail. And then as things got faster, hey, man, let's keep going. Let's get it. Let's do it more and more screens fast. I mean, I've just never lived a life where it was like, where that interest doesn't interest me. So if you can't find time or you're struggling with it, it's because you're shitty at it, don't have skills, and you really don't give a fuck. That's why. And at some point you got to flip that and awaken to what, and then if you do, then I really do think you have an advantage, and the universe will reward you.
And I agree. There was a point too where, when I first tapped into your stuff and I first tapped into Chris's stuff, and you would do your lives. There was a point when I used to just sink in my chair and you would just be like, you're this old and you're this age and you don't have this and you don't have this and you're not doing this and you're not doing this. And I was already doing a lot. And I felt like, I was like, man, I love this guy. Yeah. I love the way this guy makes me feel, in a sense. Like, I felt like shit a couple of times. And I'm like, you know what? It's all going to change. And then it's obviously like not underestimating yourself of what you can accomplish and then just putting it to work. But if the areas of your life that you really struggle in, whether it's motivating yourself or just being disciplined, go hang around disciplined people. If you suck at managing your money, go hang around people that manage their money really well. If whatever those skill sets are, it's sort of that mantra in business is you hire your weakness, right? So surround yourself with those people. Put those people in your life, and keep that list really small. There's a lot of people who put too many people around him, and then there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen. I used to be a chef in the Navy, and in kitchens for a lot of my life. When you got too many chefs in the kitchen, shit don't work. It gets crazy.
Right. You've been around me. How many people are around me?
2, you and your wife.
That's it. There's nobody. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Because I'm
That's
trading, I'm working, I'm doing things. I'm not going to your wedding. Don't
And
give
Robert.
yeah. And then, friends come in, and I have people I hang out with, but I'm not going to your kid's birthday party. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to your honeymoon or any wedding. Don't invite me. I'm not doing any of your dumb shit that I see people doing all day. I'm trying to make money, man.
But you'll come to my movie premieres.
I will go to your movie premiere because
My man.
that's doing big things, man. And but what I'm saying is I'm talking about like people that they don't trade on my level, but they got time to go to this.
Yep.
So then, yeah, it's like, bro, don't invite me, man. We're not the same people.
Yep.
You're just bringing me down. Like when I hang out with you, I actually feel dumber. Like seriously, if I'm around you a couple hours and you hadn't given me a tip, an idea, something to grow, I mean, what is it we're doing here, man?
Yeah.
Unless that relationship's designed for that, like you're hanging out with grandma. Like I get it, but even then, I'm gonna pull something out of grandma, man. Like I'm gonna look for
absolutely.
What does she like to drink? What is that cream she's putting on her neck? Like they got to reward you, man. And why are you there, dude?
Yep.
And you don't say it to them like this. This is me talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sparta. I love playing that scene when they meet up to fight, and he's like, "You only brought 300."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yeah." I mean, and they brought and he's like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm a baker." And he's like, go around. That's most people I meet. He's a truck driver. He works at Amazon. He does this. He does that. You know what I do? I trade.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm like, MFG, what do you do, man? And I'm hoping the only reason they have a job is to trade and invest their money. That's the only reason they're there. Like if it wasn't for that, they'd leave.
Right.
Because because this is what they do for a living. Everyone for a living should be managing and running their money. Who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
So if you're living life and you're not managing it and trying to skill up and level up and get on top of this, man, you are fucking up, dude. And when you get to heaven, I think you're going to answer for it. I think all the poor people are going to go to the back, man, and all the rich people go to the front.
Mm-hmm.
That's a crazy way. People misunderstand what he says there, man. And I believe that, man, that it's a choice, especially this day and age when you can pick a phone up, man. And I'm going to the front of the line, man. And I think being poor in this today is just a choice. Like you're just choosing.
Yep. There's I left a comment in the Wealth Squad. I think it was last week. Maybe it was this week. I can't remember. Somebody was talking about, perseverance and struggles and getting smacked in trades.
Good. I hope
look, and there was, and I shared that there's a quote. My favorite quote in the good book is when the Lord says, "Here I am, send me."
Yeah. Here I am, man.
That's it. You get to do all of these things. You have the privilege to have the stock market and to get smacked in the trades and all this stuff. Like, if ain't nobody else gonna do it, here I am. Send me. I'm gonna go do it.
That's the only way to get rich is to raise your responsibility.
Yeah.
Everyone
I remember too.
Yeah, is famous or rich has a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. I remember when I joined the Navy, my recruiter told me volunteer for everything. I'm like, what are you talking about, man?
Yes.
That's what he did. He told me, he said, look, man, whatever you do, volunteer for everything.
Yeah.
I did. And it took me so far. I told him, I said, tell me all the bad stuff that's going to happen. And then tell me what I have to look forward to. And he ran down the list of all the bad shit I was going to experience. And I experienced all of it, most of it, some new stuff he didn't tell me about, but I was prepared for it because I asked the question, what are the bad things I'm going to run into? What are the dangers? And then he just said, look, volunteer for everything. And I did. And I excelled very, very quickly.
That's what my yes is about, man.
I love it, man. I love you as a friend, man, as a mentor, as a man, as a fellow, I was once a married man, you are, but I know what that life entails, and just being a father too. Like, I look up to you, and I appreciate our
Mm.
friendship and all the lives that I've seen you change in a very short amount of time. All of the people in the money flow, there's a vast majority that are in the wealth squad and vice
Yo.
versa. And there's
I think your mic is
much love I
messing
gotta
up.
give.
I think your mic
Yeah,
is
Michael, your
messing
mic's staticky.
Oh, we're back here again. Is it
Yeah.
still staticky? Still
Yeah.
staticky?
a little bit. The hell with that mic. I didn't like it anyway.
Anti-Michael.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, GP. Man,
Yeah, man.
I appreciate the friendship that we have and you coming on and always dropping gems for the people, and the way that we chop it up, everyone seems to love it and eat it up.
We
So I
should work on
appreciate
that idea of, I don't know, maybe once a month we go live on YouTube and we take opposite sides of the same thing, and then we just, just for fun, like we could do either small shares or do it like paper trade it.
Yeah, we could talk about it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I thought about doing that, having guests come on and I interview them while we're day trading and see. It's hard to talk and do it at the same time.
Yeah, no, look,
Unless you catch a run.
well, they always say, like in the acting side and the exercises, when you're going through your script, it's like throwing tennis balls at yourself, or like you got to give yourself an activity while you're going through the doubt, something that really distracts you.
Yeah,
because then it helps you contain your monkey mind.
it does, man. And it's fun. I think that's why I like doing it, because it really forces me to focus, even though I am somewhat distracted, but I'm keep bringing back to the focus versus just being home alone, sitting there,
Yep.
It's a very lonely game, trading. A lot of people think, oh, I'd like to do that and just trade. And it's like, okay, well, move into an apartment and say goodbye to all your friends and family and stay in there forever.
Yeah.
Like it is none of this bullshit about being at the beach. There are no traders doing that. Not there are no professional money managers that are doing that. Now on a big scale, running big money. That's not true. They might find a little something, they might get a little technique, they might get a little wedge going, but most of the guys doing it love to do it too. So if you don't have an interest, if you're not genuinely interested in business and finance and news and markets and charts, you don't have a chance.
Yep.
But if you are, you really do have a shot. You really can beat the market, I believe.
It takes the versatility in all the different areas to be able to have the bandwidth to keep up with it all.
And at least if you're playing to the upside only, you're not trying to shorten shit. At the very least, you're just going to do as good as the market.
Right.
Like, I've had years where I worked my ass off and then I was basically flat. And I'm like, well, damn, I could have just owned the SPY.
Yeah.
But that's not true, because I learned a lot of experience. Sometimes not getting anywhere teaches you something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, don't do Forex, dummy. Like, you can quickly learn things and catch on. And, I trade Forex. I don't talk about it because I don't want to teach it or talk to people about it. But I think a lot of times 4 things you got to do, and I'll leave you be. But one is get consistent. There's no point in adding size or weight or trying to learn 18 strategies if you can't consistently do one.
Yep.
So now we're doing it consistent. And remember, the market is unlimited. When you die, they're going to open up the next day and nobody's going to care you died. That's the truth. So it's here for your whole life. So there's no rush. And then once you have that, then worry about being profitable. Like, I don't even think you need to worry about being profitable. I think you just need to show up Monday through Friday. If most of you traded every day, I'd be shocked. Oh, my cousin's coming on Thursday. Most people are bullshitting, dude. They are not professional at all. They're not real traders. They're playing this little game they play like a video game sometimes. But if you're hungry, you can pull money out of this market, man.
Yes.
So now we're profitable. We're consistent. We're profitable. Now we go to sizing it. And this is when you get free, when you can leverage it and start to size it. That's when you go to borrowing people's money. That's when you go to using options to get options, as Mike always says.
That's right. That's right.
That base, I put on options yesterday, and then the final is breath. So I know this strategy. I've consistently done it. I make money. I sized it. I'm profitable. Cool. What's number 2? And so in my playbook, I have basically 5 versions of the money flow. It's all the money flow, but 5 different things that I do inside of the money flow. And, it's no reason you don't need to learn all 5 until you're profitable at 1.
Right.
Go to number 2, and then number 3, and then number 4, and then boom. And then the last thing would be able to explain it to people. That's the evolution.
It's a beautiful strategy, man. It's really helped me. I know it's obviously helped Chris and and so many people here in the Wealth Squad. So that's it. If you guys aren't familiar with GP, if you guys stepped into the training late, follow him full auto 11 on all of his channels.
I forgot. I was thinking I was running it, man, for a second. So I was like, "Where's my buttons?"
That's it. We just vibe, man. We just vibe and we just do what we do. That's how
I was about to say, "All right, man, I'll let you go."
No, that's how we do it, man.
I appreciate you having me on, man.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us every once in a while, and offering gems and just wisdom for the market and your outlook. And I know that, and I bring you on because I know that we have very, very similar beliefs and very similar perspectives of outlooks of where we see the market going, different trades to get into, and I just appreciate you, the sportsmanship all the time.
Yeah, and I've been the videos are ridiculously long. I can't imagine why anyone would watch it, but I've been doing like these 2-hour ones on YouTube with just me live trading during the day, and the dumb shit that I listen to for motivation, the music, stupid things I say. But I don't know, if you're really, really new, you probably get a lot out of it. If you know my strategy pretty well, I can't imagine you'd sit through 2 hours of it. But if you're new to trading, it probably help you.
I think going into this next year for me, I might open up that window for myself too, is to live trade. I know a lot of people have asked me to do it too. Our other provider, Kia Taylor, does it. You do it. I might have to join the group.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun, except when you're getting your ass handed to you. You're like,
that's
I lost
right.
again. It's like number 3. I think I'm gonna call the live. If I'm winning, I'll keep it running.
That's it. That's the last time I'm gonna trade this market, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you. You be good.
I appreciate you too, GP. And everybody, you guys have a good night. Thanks for tapping in with us. Appreciate it. All right, y'all. Be cool. If I missed any of your questions, hit me up in the Discord.